Hello, hello. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Brittany. If you're not, welcome back, great to see you. I'm just gonna get right into the video and say I do not have thick hair. I do not have hair that naturally has volume. I don't have hair that I love every day when I wake up. I feel like it just is flat, it's straight, it doesn't really do anything for me. And I'm gonna tell you what I do to somewhat fix it, somewhat alleviate the pain. Hair can go by two terms. It can be thin and it can be fine. I find majority of people who complain about having thin hair actually have fine hair. Thin hair is when you don't have as much hair, like you don't have as many hair follicles, and fine hair is just your actual hair strand is finer. Fine hair is more so straight. It doesn't have a lot of texture in it. It doesn't feel very coarse, so a lot of times it is very soft. Fine hair is also flat. I don't want to say the word dull, but dull, lifeless, doesn't really hold style very easily. And that's mostly what we're dealing with. When your hair is naturally thinning, most of the time it's a hormone imbalance or something wrong in your body. Hair doesn't really thin for no reason, besides genetics and aging, like sometimes it just does, so we'll ignore everything I just said. But I'm gonna talk to you guys today about things that I do that kind of just lift that burden of having finer hair. By no means are these 100% the right thing to do. They're just things that I find help. So number one, we're gonna talk about hair color. Right now I have a little bit of blonde, a little bit of brunette. It's kind of a good mix. And that's what I find is so key to creating hair that looks thicker than it actually is. You need something for light to bounce off of. You need something for colors to bounce off of, the sun to bounce off of. People's eyes need to be drawn to different parts of your hair in order for it to look full. So sometimes girls think, oh, I'll just go super dark and it'll just make my hair look luscious. And it might when you get that fresh blow dry and that salon feeling, but then you're gonna go home and you're gonna style your hair yourself. It's not gonna hit the same. So I always tend to go for maybe adding a little bit of highlights or adding a little bit of lowlights. And that brings me into my next point. If you wanna add dimension, you don't have to go lighter. Unless your hair is like jet black, then maybe. I do a few girls' hair where they already are a really beautiful brunette and we actually end up adding some black lowlights in there. They don't have to be chunky. Sometimes you can go for chunky and it still looks good. Just something for the eye to bounce off of. So that's my first tip, is just add some dimension. It can be all the way, it can be kind of mids down, it can be a little money piece. Just do whatever makes you feel good. And then my next tip is just for actual haircuts. I would number one recommend to not get a butterfly haircut. It is such a beautiful haircut when it's done on the right head of hair. Most people do not have the right hair for it. You need like tons and tons of hair. And most people with hair like mine, they get what they think is this butterfly haircut and it ends up turning into more of a shag haircut. And then you're just left with little stringy ends and you're like, what do I do with these when I'm not blow drying it every day and roller setting it every day? So what I would recommend is something a little bit blunt. If you want to add layers, tell your hairdresser to only add layers to this top perimeter of your hair, like this top section. Do not add layers throughout your full section of your hair, otherwise it will feel so much thinner. When I get layers, I basically just do my face frame or my bangs. Yeah, just this like crown area is the only thing that gets layers put into it. And I like it like that. Again, like I'm saying, this is all from my personal experience. Don't take any of my word as law, but that is what I think haircut wise. And I always love a blunt haircut. I don't know, there's just something about it, makes me feel good. Another thing is long hair doesn't always mean thick hair. Your hair can be down to your butt, but if it's only scraggly at the bottom, cut it off. We don't wanna see it. I think regular trims are a thing. I don't get them often enough, as much as I should, but they do help. Having your hair look full at the bottom is something that will really deceive people into thinking that your hair is super lush. Okay, and then this is the third part, is just styling your hair to make it look fuller. I can do a few videos on this. So number one, if you want your hair to look va-va-voom gorgeous, put it in rollers. Let that sit 2-3 hours. Do it in the morning, go about your morning, do what you have to do. And then you take it out and you look like a bombshell babe. And I love it. It just adds this like insane volume into your hair. And then the next tip is when you are curling your hair, most of the time people go for that nice soft look and they curl all their hair just away from their face. You can still get somewhat of that same look and make it look a little bit more full by just doing the front two sections away from your face, so nothing's going in towards, and then you just alternate. Each section as you're curling, you do some towards, some away. And that doesn't let your hair fall all the way together, and it actually gives you more volume. I think this would be my number one tip for the girls that have flat, fine hair, is just wash it. I wish we could all just become dry shampoo girlies day in and day out And sometimes it does help, but honestly, nothing beats a fresh washed head of hair. All the hair is lifted. They don't just clump together. That is when I feel my rattiest, is when my hair is greasy. You can just see different spots in my scalp and it's just not a good look. So freshly washed hair is your friend. And that being said, dry shampoo is not only for your worst of oily days. You can definitely use dry shampoo as a texture spray. If your hair is 1 day old, half a day old, who cares? You need some oomph in it. I don't care if it's freshly washed. I'll spritz that dry shampoo in there, scrunch it up, done. Do that. And then the next tip that I have is I don't have it on me right now, but there are these like root sprays. It's like a powder spray, so it comes in something that it's not aerosol, but it has this little psh psh thing. I'll put a picture of it like somewhere. You just spray it and this powder like clouds out into your roots, and then I just scrunch it up and it tends to hold the texture a lot more. The only thing is, if I'm using any volumizing product, I have to wash it out the next day. Otherwise it's just sitting there and it's so heavy on my hair that it just can't come out. Something also for the fine-haired gals is we are gonna have greasy days. We're gonna have days where our hair does not look as volumey as we would like it to, but you're like, oh, I don't wanna wash it yet, like what do I do? And we're gonna resort to what everyone resorts to, which is a slick back. When you're doing a slick back, as a girl with fine hair, it is kind of scary. You know, you slick everything back and then you're like, I have 3 strands of hair on my head and I can see all these little bright white patches where the sun doesn't hit normally. It's terrifying. I feel like I'm glowing. So something that I really find is fun is either grabbing one of those L'Oreal root sprays if you have a dark color and just kind of filling it in, or grab an eyeshadow. You know, we put makeup on our face, why not put it on your hairline? You can literally just find an eyeshadow palette that matches somewhat similar to your tone of hair. You can grab lighter colors, you can grab darker colors. Hey, add the dimension in with eyeshadow. I won't judge. That's just something that I do to make it look a little thicker. I also find if you're gonna do an updo of any kind, I always wanna leave out some sort of hair around my face, but I don't want it to just be the hairs right here. I wanna grab hair from the full hairline. You know, so a few down here, a few down here. That way, you just have a full arc covering your face, and then you can do whatever you want up here. People don't care about the back. I don't care about the back. As long as I look bombshell beauty in the front, I'm fine. Yeah, those are just a few tips that I have. I honestly probably have more, but I just am not thinking of them. I was just thinking, I was like, what can I chat about today that I feel like is kind of relatable? And it is to me. I just have really fine hair, so I want to make it look as best as I can. I know I didn't have a lot of tips for you, but those are just a few things that I find were really helpful when I was trying to figure out kind of the start of my hairstyling journey, what I wanted to achieve with my hair. And in the end, it all just comes down to practice. You just gotta go for it. Play around with it, style your hair, see what works for you, see what doesn't work for you. And at the end of it all, you're gonna look good. I know it, so you should. Okay, thanks for listening to me. Have a good day. Bye!